Hello everybody, it's Michelle, and I thought that I would go ahead and just get right into it. One of the first videos that I really wanted to do was a November in review or a November rewind video where I talked to you about what I did and read in November. And I think I got everything that I read. I read a lot, I think, for me at least. I'm not sure what the average person on here reads, but for me, this was a lot of stuff. I kind of wanted to start with some of the books that I finished that I'd been working on, and then move into the other books that I just read and loved and couldn't get enough of them. So the first book that I finished, I had started previous to November, was this. This is The Body Sacred by Diane Sylvan, and this book is pretty much invaluable. This book is fantastic. First of all, the cover is just beautiful. It's a very beautiful shape of a woman's body, very tasteful. And the colors, you can't quite see them very well in the camera, but they're just so, I don't know, they make you think, oh my gosh, I could do this. I don't know why. It just makes you feel like you could do anything. But this book, it's a spiritual book. I would recommend it more for anybody who would consider themselves New Age or pagan or anything on that side of the spectrum, because she does talk a lot about energy and just all kinds of different things, meditations. So, yeah, I don't. If you want to read it and you're of a different faith and you want to give it a try, why not? Because what this book does is it empowers women to treat themselves the way they deserve to be treated, because all too often we find ourselves not in that state of mind. We're taking care of other people or we're destroying our bodies. So it teaches you how to open up and be the sexy that you want to be, and to be the goddess that you really are, and to own it. And I think that for a lot of women these days, that's just really hard. And this book kind of opens your eyes and makes you think, why have I not always treated myself this way? So this book was fantastic, and I'm really thankful that I finally finished it. And I would give it 5 stars, easily. Easily 5 stars. Diane Sylvan writes in a way that makes you feel like she's your best friend. So she's not alienating you. She's not talking down to you. She's making you feel like you're one of the girls. And she almost has that sassy best friend kind of thing, like the kind of friend who would like hit you over the head and say, why don't you see this right in front of your face? So I kind of like that attitude that she has when she writes. So yeah, if you're into spirituality at all and you're looking for something to talk about women and how to just own up and be your own woman, The Body Sacred by Diane Sylvan is definitely an awesome book. Now let's get to, I guess I didn't quite finish this other book, so I'm not going to talk about that yet, but let's talk about some of the other stuff that I read. I read The Vampire Academy. Oh my gosh. Rochelle Mead is fantastic. And I have to be honest, I did not want to read this book because this cover, let's be honest, no. I'm sorry. This looks like a cracked out Angelina Jolie to me. I think it's just, it's not pretty. It's not alluring. I don't even get the vampire vibe from it. I just get drugged out Angelina Jolie. So the cover made me not want to read this for the longest time, and I think actually some of my other friends, like Amanda Pearl 2 Books, she said she had the same problem with it, but she wouldn't shut up about it, because I love vampire books. I do. Kind of getting over it right now, but she convinced me that this was worth it, and honestly, I think it's really unique. I haven't read anything like this before. And if you've read any vampire books, you know vampires are overdone. They've tried to do it in different ways, but it just always ends up being the same damn thing. And, you know, mortal girl falls in love with vampire and they fight for their love. And the love relationship is toxic to begin with. So it's like, I don't know, it's all bad. But in this, the plot is just so different. The world that she creates is something that I've never heard of. And I would consider myself a vampire snob, because I started reading the Vampire Chronicles. That was the first vampire books I've ever read in my life. And I think Anne Rice sets the bar pretty high. So then when you start to add, you know, uh, oh gosh, I can't remember. Is it Charlene Harris? I don't know who writes they're not True Blood, but like the Sookie Stackhouse stuff. If you add that and then you start to add like the House of Night series or Stephanie Meyer or any of that, and you're just like, oh my God, it's not owning up to what vampires really are. But this just creates a whole new world, and it doesn't rewrite the rules enough to piss me off. So I love it. Plus, you just start to love the characters. It's pretty fast-paced, in my opinion. It's always interesting. So, I would give this a solid 4 stars, really, because it kept me reading. It wasn't anything super special. I wasn't, like, crying while I read this or having emotional reactions, but I did love it, and especially once you get past the first couple chapters, it's amazing, and I love it. And it keeps you guessing, and it's, I wonder what's happening. So, I can't wait to read the next book. I have been put on a book buying ban, I think I mentioned that, by Amanda. So I was going to buy Frostbite, which is the second book, and I'm going to read that as soon as I get it. So whether I get it from Santa for Christmas or not, I'm going to buy it afterwards. So that's going to be next on my list. But Vampire Academy was fantastic. The next book I read was something that I wasn't expecting to read. I was looking for something that wasn't paranormal romance, wasn't paranormal at all, had nothing to do with any of those things, because I'm over it. I'm over dystopian, I'm over vampires and paranormal romance. So I found this, Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Septis? I don't know how to say that, but anyway, this is a fantastic book. This book I gave 5 stars to. I cried, I gasped. My favorite part actually was there was a moment where something happened. I'm not going to say it because it could be a spoiler. And I went, and on the next page it said, I gasped along with everyone else. It's right here. I gasped along with everyone else. And I thought that was kind of funny. But throughout the whole book, I'm feeling for the characters. And at first I wasn't quite sure if I would like it because the style of writing is different than I've experienced recently. It seems to be almost like if you were watching a movie, like you're opening your eyes, witnessing a scene, and then you're closing your eyes, and all of a sudden you're somewhere else. And that's what I felt like most of this book was like. It's not as bad towards the end. I have a young male cat who is going to get snipped soon, so he's going through puberty right now. So if you hear any meowing, that's him. But honestly, after the first, and the chapters are only 2 or 3 pages a piece. I mean, it's kind of like a Dan Brown thing when he does that. But, Fusa, shut up. He might come over here. You might get to visit him. But after about the 5th chapter, I was hooked, and I really started to love the characters. Lena is the main character, and this is about Lithuanians in World War II around 1941 being taken by the Soviets. Were they called Soviet? Yeah, they were called Soviets back then. I don't even know. I'm so bad at this. And taken into work camps. So it's a part of history that we don't really hear about very often. So that was kind of neat too. This is historical fiction. It has nothing to do with 50 Shades of Grey, which is something that I thought when I picked it up. But Between Shades of Grey has nothing to do with that. It's far, far from it. And I think that even the writing is just so good. But yeah, 5 stars to this book because it kept me going. I read it in 2 days, which for me is a huge deal. So just pick it up. It's a fantastic book, and I can't wait for more books by Ruta. I don't know. Am I saying that right? I don't even know. Okay, now let's go to the book that I hated, okay? And then we'll move on to the book that I loved. Anne Rice, The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. And I love Anne Rice. I have her entire Vampire Chronicles series. I thought that she couldn't write bad. And I'm really sorry, but I can't finish this book. I thought that, because I tried to read 50 Shades of Grey 2 once, and it wasn't happening. It was just like a 2-year-old decided to write porn, and it was horrid. So I figured, well, Anne Rice probably writes erotica better. So I started to read it, and you know what? I think the erotic scenes are... I don't know, maybe it's the wording, maybe I'm expecting like dirty words or something, and maybe I just need to get into erotica, I don't know, but I feel like she used the same descriptions to describe some of the scenes, and then within the first page and a half, Sleeping Beauty is being awoken by sex, and I'm just like, oh my god. And the thing that I understand about 50 Shades of Grey is that this relationship is like this new exploratory, interesting, like, ooh, I don't know if I like that, ooh, I like that kind of a situation. This is, hey, let me wake you up from 100 years of sleep by having sex with you, and now you're my sex slave, and I'm going to make you walk around naked with me everywhere I go, and you will do what I tell you to do. That is very degrading. And I'm sorry, BDSM, whatever, I'm all for it if it's mutual, if people want to be in that situation. But in this situation, even if it ends up getting better, I can't get past the first part of this. It's incredibly degrading, and not in a mutual way, as far as like sex is concerned. It's just, I don't know. I couldn't even finish it, and I won't finish this book. So, Anne, I'm really sorry, but this book, I tried really hard. I got to page 44, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. So, I don't really recommend that. Maybe erotica is your thing, but I don't know. I think it was the subject matter of just the non-mutual BDSM relationship and the slave thing. I didn't like that. So, moving on, hoping my cat doesn't mess up my camera, because my cat, I'll be watching it, you'll see. Hey, Fusa, come over here, oh my gosh. No, you gotta go the other way, baby. Here, I'll throw something. Go get that! That's all it takes. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite book. Oh, The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. First of all, let's take a moment to just look at this cover. Gorgeous, right? And I love how it kind of continues into there, and it's just, the whole cover's beautiful, very mysterious. She creates such a crazy, unique world. Again, I haven't read a lot, but I've never heard of a world like this before. She creates this world that is just, it just sucks you in. And I love the character development. I feel for every character, or if I don't feel for them, I hate them, and I'm like, oh. But then, damn it, she makes me feel for those characters that I end up hating. So it's just so cool. It's like I'm on a ride the whole time. And the twists and the turns, I was sort of suspecting, like, the big thing, if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, the big thing at the end. I was sort of suspecting it, but I wasn't quite sure. But this book just had me reading and reading and reading, and I couldn't stop. The one thing that I will say that I did not like, but maybe if I read it again it would be a little bit better, was initially when she would move from, not necessarily one scene to the other scene, but especially from time to time or between characters, sometimes it would take me a second to figure out where I was. After I did, it was fine, but especially towards the end when, you know, we're in Madrigal's shoes, it took me a really long time to kind of see where we were. Is this something that was happening? I was confused. But other than that, which is a very small critique actually, because the rest of the book was so good it made up for that, and that's not what I think of when I see this book. All I think of is, ah! So, oh, there's Fusa. Aw, he's my little kitty. Come here, Foos. This is Fusa. Yes, I named him after those little guys in Madagascar. So, actually, right now, that kind of takes me to the end of my video. That's what I read in November. And right now I'm reading A Game of Thrones, which I showed you in my intro video. So far, I'm loving it. It's not something I've ever read before, so high fantasy is new to me, but gosh, it's good. I thought that I would be so lost, but it's actually pretty easy to follow. But I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple for December. I think I'm just going to try to finish A Game of Thrones. January, I'll have like a to-be-read kind of video that I'm going to do, and I might do that closer towards the holidays, like Christmas or something. But yeah, I'll keep you in the loop on that. Anyway, in the meantime, I might do some book reviews, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.